And a very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I request all of you to keep your phones on mute because this is being recorded. We are extremely glad that we have Minnku with us, and she will be talking to us. She's released a book recently on hope, and she will be talking on the same subject. So a very warm welcome to you also, Minnku. We start today's session with the school prayer by Deepti. Over to you, Deepti. Deepti?
Oh, hidden. You can't hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Hidden life, vibrant in every atom, shining in every creature. Oh, hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee feel one with every other.
Thank you, Deepti. And now we move on to an introduction of our esteemed speaker. So, Deepti, where's Deepti? Deepti? Ramesh, will you introduce Minnku? Ramesh?
Sure, Sajani.
Yes. Oh, Deepti's come back. Okay, Deepti, will you introduce our speaker, please?
Yes.
Deepti,
Okay.
kindly introduce us.
Yes. It got disconnected. Yeah.
Okay.
I get it actually. I don't know what is happening. 1 minute.
I think there's also a lag in Deepti's connection.
Yes. Deepti, please introduce our speaker. I don't know what's happened. So, Ramesh, kindly introduce our speaker.
Sure, Sajani. It makes me great joy and pleasure to once again introduce Minnku Buttar ji, as she is a business world's top 20 most influential well-being leaders, TEDx speaker. Her talk on the art of thinking was the 6th most watched talk in the world in November 22. The international author of Diversity, It Changes Your Perspective, that won the Scholars Book of World Record, and Mission Hope, talk show host for the Circle of Joy. She's got a long list of achievements here and awards. So what I'll do is I'll skip to the next section because I think you will really appreciate who she is, the depth of who she is while she speaks today. So she's also a fashion designer, an artist, and a visionary curator, ideating and curating dozens of out-of-the-box programs for corporates and other institutions. The national awards bestowed upon her exemplary work are Swami Vivekananda Award, Changemaker of 2020, Woman of Excellence Award, and Iconic Woman 2020 from the Women Economic Forum, Stree Shakti Award of 2021 from the Telangana government, and the Shakt Nari Saman Influencer of 2022. And she's also, I must add, a talk show host of the Circle of Joy, the columnist for the Women's Straight Talks, a New York-based lifestyle, art, culture magazine. She's featured contributing author for the Biz Catalyst 360, founder of the Circle of Joy, award-winning transformational facilitator, and leading self-mastery and public speaking programs. There are a lot of awards. I mean, she's really a highly decorated person, and that comes with a very good grounding because she's a person who really has been a go-getter, and she's transformed the lives of many. So with a great deal of pleasure, we welcome Minnku Buttar ji.
Thank you, Ramesh. A warm welcome to you, Minnku. And I'd like to tell everyone that she's just back from Rishikesh last night. So she comes with an aura of spirituality because she was attending spiritual talks there. And now it's over to you, Minnku. We look forward to your talk today.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for coming in. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start this session. As always, delighted to be back second time over. The last time I still, you know, the beautiful testimony that Rameshji gave me was astounding. It's the best ever feedback after a session. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to start today's session a little slower, waiting for everyone to come avail this ideation that I'm going to bring forward today. And because there is some issues here on the computer, Swati from the School of Ancient Wisdom has very, very kindly accepted to be para. So Swati will pull up one at a time when I ask you, and then when I request, we will switch it off. So this is really, if you could have it on the whole screen, this is my first slide. I just want you to see it and look at this picture that I took at the footsteps of Tirupati mountain, you know, just before you start climbing. Now, all of you, I would like you to imagine that you are standing in front of this temple. And what is the first thing that you're going to do? I don't know about you, but I join my hands always in a very respectful prayer, right? Seated in deep humility. And just like in the woman in the picture, and I bet anything that each one of us also do the same. I hope you do, because when we do this, we are showing great humility of our existence. And no matter what religion, what faith you are, if you hold your hands like this, or whether you, ask like this, no matter how egoistic a person is, no matter how humble it is, one thing is a given, that people are their most vulnerable and humble self while praying. And why is that? Well, before I start, I just want to do a little pitch here to all our wonderful attendees. I like my sessions to be light and interactive with a little bit of fun stories. So keeping your cameras on would be really greatly appreciated in my sessions. If you're comfortable, you can lie down. You can be in your pajamas. It's almost sunset. You can be in the sirsana. You could do a yoga headstand. If you're cooking, carry on cooking. Just put yourself on mute. But when I see you, thank you. When I see you, I understand how you all are receiving this. And every once in a while, send me some hearts and thumbs up, right? So for that, you need to be right there, resonating with something that I said. All I can promise you today is after the next 40, 45 minutes, I hope I will leave you all with enough to chew, to digest, so that it gives you a new perspective on how you are showing up in life. Is it in endless hope? Or are you thinking, oh, it's a hopeless end, so why do anything at all? It depends totally on you. So let me take up exactly where I left it. The why. Why is even the most egoistic person at their level best, most vulnerable and humble while we do our prayers? I also wish that we had our chat where we could actually do a lot of interactive sessions. That's what I do with a lot of platforms and corporates. But I think we can always unmute if you want to say something at some point, and we'll do the Q&A later. Now, somewhere down in our hearts, my dear friends, we know that the power of folding hands is such an act of humility. I have never, ever gone to a temple or seen anyone standing at the altars like this, defiantly with their hands on their hips and saying to Ishvara or our creator, oh, hello, buddy, I'm here. So listen up. I think no matter which race, which faith, which religion you are, you know that the humility is the biggest virtue that God desires in us. And just to prove a point, since humility and hope is what I have been researching on, I came across a quote from Bible. I think it's a Proverb 11.2, which says, pride comes then comes, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. How amazing. And so pattern. And Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, he has also listed humility as the first item of knowledge. You look at Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, he says exactly, he says, without humility, you cannot gain knowledge. So unless we don't know what is there to be learned, we will never be open to learning, right? Right? If you want to look at, say, the Quran, the Surah Al-Furqan from the 25th chapter, that also says the same thing. It says that the servants of the most merciful are those who walk on this earth with great humility. And when the ignorant address them, they say only words of peace. And, you know, I belong to the Sikh faith, and I grew up listening what Guru Granth Sahib says about being humble and the power of prayer. He says something very simple. He says, make contentment your earrings, humility, your begging bowl, and meditations, the ashes you apply to your body. Beautiful, powerful. So what I'm trying to say is prayers keeps us from pride and claiming with a self-inflated ankara, right? The ego. Oh, we are the doers. We are not. We are not even on the driver's seat. But when we pray egoless, we move into something different, a beautiful, loving relationship with our Creator, right? And that guides us from this life of hopelessness to the one that is steeped in hopefulness and a knowing that hope will always cherish our desires. And it is like putting an application in the Lord's feet with so much of love, like a child does to the mother, like we tug on the pallu of a mother, with so much confidence, with so much trust, and with so much patience and surrender and gratitude, waiting for something to happen, waiting for Ishvara to give us what we've asked for. There's two reminders that I want to bring here. One, let's get this, first of all, we can get rid of this so that I can see everyone in the big screen. Swati, I'll ask you to bring on the second screen in the slide in a bit. I just want to see everyone in the, yeah, we'll bring this on in a bit, yeah? Or you can keep it on, it's okay, yeah? Or only thing, it'll be a little distracting.
Okay, shall I go on to the first slide?
No, just take off the slide. So when when I request you bring it on, and if you
fine,
are
no
comfortable taking it off.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is two reminders when we are asking in desire to the Lord, or this little errant child tugging at some mother's pallu. First is, let's not get greed into the picture. Remember, all scriptures say that you will only receive abundance in proportion to your well-deservedness, the collected good karma, nothing more. So no greed. Secondly, remember this, and this is powerful. So please listen carefully. Words have weight that does not lie in their physicality, but in the ability to shape destinies. Words can spark laughter and heal wounds. So every word chosen thoughtfully is able to enlighten your life, or it can drown you. So my intention is, let's together today learn to choose our words very, very carefully. And I also wanted to say that the most used word in the world is hope. In case you didn't realize, I've already used it about 13 times in the last 5 minutes. That's how often. I hope you're doing well. We write that in our emails, right? No one writes those letters. But I remember writing to my pen pals when I was young. And it was like, I hope you're in the well. My aunt is, well, she was a professor on literature. And over our holidays, we used to go and be at her grandparents' home. And she used to show us papers from, say, the second-tier cities. And it used to, one of them, I still remember, and I was only about 13, 14, and it said, I hope you are I am in the well, and I hope you're in the well too. So the word hope and wishes comes in various ways. So our topic today is hopeless end, or is it endless hope? I want to first get into what is hope. Let me just tell you how we're going to unfold this now that I've set up the platform, the introduction. How do some of you interpret hope? And why do people slip into that hopeless end zone? Though our natural emotions are geared to be one of joy and endless hope. That's why I called my company the Circle of Joy, because joy is a most natural vibration. And it's not a hockey-pocky statement as someone thinks. Even during COVID, people were clinging on to hope and joy, and that tells you something, right? And then I'm going to touch upon how to reverse this journey. So today, I hope when you leave this session, you would be an ambassador of hope, and you would take this message to someone around you who needs it. That is my earnest attempt. So let me first start asking some of you here. Say, for example, could I ask, let me see who are the brave ones with their cameras on. I wish more people. Oh, yes, absolutely. Gitu. Could I ask, where is Gitu? Gitu, is she still here? Oh, Gitu, could you unmute yourself and say, what is hope for you, my dear?
Hi, Minnku. Sat Sri Akal. And so happy to see you. Wonderful that we are counting hope. And I think you've used it 18 times by now. And okay, so what is hope? So many representations of it, but it's an endless search for coming out of your current present situation. It is a present situation. It is hope in the future. And I think it is between these two phases that our endeavor is to be constantly searching for hope now, hope that is immediately in the future or far farther in the future. It is, lastly, hope is, the idea of hope enters our mind because we are trying to better a certain situation or an outcome.
That's beautiful. Gitu, thank you so much. That's powerful. And while we're at it, Malati obviously has something beautiful to say about hope. Malati, welcome. I would love to hear that.
Sentence. I just have one sentence.
Sure.
I think it's an anticipation of something that would be positive and something which would be aesthetically pleasing to someone. So you tend to, yearn and as well as chase something that you feel will be good for you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love how, Malti, you've said that you are one of those people who sees the silver lining and the light at the end of the tunnel. That's beautiful. So on that note, before I go into what was my interpretation of hope in life, what is my journey? How do I associate with hope? Why did I write the book? And what did I write in it? And before I take you to this journey of hopelessness to hope, can we pull up the next slide? And I just want to give you, I'm just bombarding you with different insights to see where your sparking will happen today. I like to attend from all sides. So Swati, could we pull up the next one, which I think is 3 quotes from different people. And while we have it on, I'm very happy to jump in. Now, I especially picked up these 3 people, right? I have picked up because these are 3 people from different genres of genius, yet they have the same kind of message. Whether you see Emily, who was 1886 all the way, the most acclaimed American poet. I think there was literally only 1 or 2 of her poems published, and then poems were found and published much later after she was no more. Then, of course, we have the Vietnamese Tien Buddhist monk that we all respect. He talks about hope. And there is this Laini Taylor. So hope, taking from what Gitu said, what Malati said, hope is definitely, my dear friends, not some Pollyanna-ish optimism, nor is it a very passive exercise in just wishing. Do you see that, how much bigger it is? It is almost an arising. It's almost formulation of a plan to achieve a clear goal in mind. When I say it like this, does it make it more powerful? That hope is talking about optimism, and it's talking about a can-do attitude. Rather than just saying, humko de do, upar wale, or Diler Mendi saying, humko bhi lift kara de. It's much more than that. You actually formulate a plan, a goal on how to achieve something, right? So we can take that off. Thank you, Swati. So for me, hope, Swati, we can take it off. Is it hope similar to Sankalpa? Just hold on to that question. I'm going to take that question later. So for me, hope is a very active approach. It's a very energetic relationship with yourself. And like some of you said, it's a belief that the future will be better than the present. The only difference I find is when I was younger, hoping was easier. But at this age, I need a refined version of mature hope, if that makes sense. But yes, I'm still hoping to dream. I want to love, and I still hope to get my solo book out next time. So let me just take you to what my Mission Hope book is. So could we have the third slide, please? Swati, could we have the third slide? So nice. I see more familiar faces come in. So here, so third slide. Yeah. So I wrote this book. It's called Mission Hope. And there I am in total joy. We've had 2 book signings. The third one is coming up in Atagalata. So you're welcome to join every time we have a different discussion. So I was actually asked what entitles me to write about hope. And my author is Dominic Damasky, and he sits in the US. My editor, Charlotte Murphy, sits in the US. And they asked me, they said, why would you like to write? My answer is very clear. And my why I wanted to write is very, very sharply focused. And when I was doing my research, so this is how it led to it. I said, do I want to write for this book? And what does hope mean to me, right? Because whenever you're given something and something lands, because I'm big into manifestation, everything in my life has been a manifestation of some kind. So when I was doing this research, I found some shocking statistics. In the 8 billion people, 3.6% people, imagine, that is 264 million suffer from anxiety and depression. And guess the biggest culprit is hopelessness. And yet so little, if you start exploring about hope, you'll find some very generic kind, how to bring hope up, very generic. So little is written on this. And believe me, I really believe that life can end when you lose faith, when you lose hope, when you stop dreaming, when you stop believing, when you stop caring and you stop loving. That is how important hope is. And here I was sitting with a story of hope, a very positive belief and emotion that, if I can say it like this, and let me just put it very, very mindfully and sensitively, I think hope has lifted me. It has dried my tears. It has dusted off pain. Every time there was grief, disappointment, or betrayals, or soul-crushing traumas in my life that left me crushed and defeated at many points of my life. So my book anthology, Mission Hope, became my most powerful tool for self-reflection, for my awareness and clarity, where my life needed to heal. Okay. And this book is now available on Amazon, or you could reach out to me for a signed copy. It is uplifting, inspired stories of ordinary people who faced extraordinary challenges and emerged stronger than ever before. You know what Maya Angelou has said? She says, there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. So all of you who have ever thought we want to write If you need help, you can reach out to me. I can help you. Where's the starting point? What does it take to be a writer? But believe me, I hope this will inspire you. If you have a story that needs to be told, you need to write that. So if I put everything that I spoke about in one line, and we could have saved the last about 12 minutes, it would be that I glorify hope as that armor of resilience that can make the world look less bleak. We all have unique stories, my dear friends. We have wonderful opportunities to see beyond ourselves. Yet we, you, me, before I wrote this, we are diminishing the power of our narratives, right? So forget about writing. If we can have conversations like we are having today, brave, I applaud you all for coming here. And if we can make a collective acknowledgement to heal and repair on an individual level, then we are creating a platform for collective healing of humans and the planet as whole. And that's huge. Please rest in this. Please muse over this. You have to start understanding that hopelessness will brew anxiety and depression. So your life needs to be a process of understanding your relationship with these emotions. So other than writing, what do I do to recharge? And I have, with Sajani's permission, I have put this very interesting slide, the next one. I have brought this from last week. Yes, Keetu, thank you. Yes, it's a wonderful gesture. I think all of us can write. Swati, I think I want to, I'm very excited to share the next the next slide with everyone. I want to show you where I go for recharge. Where was I in Rishikesh? Can we bring up the next slide, Swati? Swati, can we pick up the next slide, please? Thank you. There it was. That is my recharge station. So if you have any questions, hold on to your questions and I'll tell you exactly where it is. If you are up north next time, Rishikesh, you can go here. It is where Vashisht sage came. There's a very interesting story that when he lost his children, he wanted to die. He wanted to commit suicide in Ganga, but Ganga Ma refused his body. And then that is how Arundhati, his wife, said, let's sit and meditate. And believe me, this is the same gufa, the same cave where sage Vishisht, how many years, my God, he sat and he prayed. And I usually go there and I sit there in quiet and I recharge my stations. I also put this picture. This is exactly how Ganga was last week. She's furious right now, even though we don't have the floods, but she is really furious for whatever reason, right? So we can, so I hope you enjoyed seeing where, you could go and re-find yourself. So we can take that off. Thank you so much, Swati. So Landa, let me just tell you something. I'm going to come to the crux of something beautiful, because this, I promised you, is going to be something tangible, something which I walk the talk. So let me just share with you that I had 100 conversations. Swati, we can take it out. Thank you. And you can put the next slide on whenever you're ready. So I had about 100 conversations with people in the last 3 months, and this is real. Okay, I was at the Phoenix. For those who, I think we are all from Bangalore, so I was going everywhere. I would go have conversation with random people, and I asked them, because when you start writing, you have to do your research, and for me, research means having real narratives and conversations. So I asked them, why do you believe in endless hope? Do you believe in hope, and why do you believe in it? And this is what I arrived at. And I'm going to share this synopsis of the 10 most important reasons why hope is important in our life. So this is, you can take a snapshot of this when she brings up the slide. I think this is going to be very interesting. 100 conversations. And this is my synopsis coming right up. Swati, could we bring that up? The 10 reasons why. Okay. So in my book, I have attended to it a little differently, but this is where we started. So what are the reasons? It helps us to stay positive. Just go through the list. Take a second, few seconds and see. So keep looking at that while I just explain and elaborate. See, what happens in life is when we are knocked down by our circumstances, hope is what empowers us to try again with a very strong belief that our goal or success is possible. And we tend to sleep better. We tend to have less stress, anxiety. We eat better. We handle adversities like illness, injury, loss, and even death much better. We really do. And I just want, for your reference, I want to clarify here that having hope doesn't mean that it's going to eliminate illness and diseases that are genetic. Okay. So, but I found some of the people I talked to said that the more hopeful, the more optimistic they were about getting cured, they had less flare-ups when they experienced in their chronic diseases that they were. That is huge for me. This is almost like doing a PhD with this 100 conversations. For example, there was this lady who was limping, and I said, have you hurt yourself? And she says, no, I have a very painful arthritis, I'm very advanced osteoporosis. And she said that with this optimism that she has invested on, she doesn't feel the pain as much because she still feels one day she will be able to combat. Some even said to me, Minnku, we actually experience joy. We experience gratitude because of the things that are not going well in their life. They have started to appreciate even the mundane things around them they had ignored before. See how powerful hope is? So it's a beautiful cycle instead of a vicious cycle. Now let's see about relationships, right? Relationships always involve conflict. We all know, and COVID showed us we were in each other's faces, and so it's unavoidable. Now, hope, how does it help us? It helps us with what I call conflict resolutions, which means that when you attend to a certain conflict with a lot of hope at resolving it, you become emotionally available. That's huge. We do not have time for each other nowadays, and for good times and bad times. And these two friends, and in their own way, they even astounded me. And they said that they even laugh and they see humor in their mistakes and frustrations, and they emerge wiser and they emerge a better version of themselves. I totally see that. I mean, do you? I mean, do you relate to that? Can I see some thumbs up? Yeah, Indu, thank you. I'm so glad that you. Oh my God, Indu, please come in. I want to see you, Indu. How are you doing nowadays? Malati, you were right there. I saw your beautiful, radiant, aura-filled face, and then you went away. So please stay there. So Geeta, do you agree with the way that hope can illuminate everything in your life? Do you agree with that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So see what happens. Let me explain to you a little scientifically. So when we feel hopeless or we are fearful or we feel danger, our brain overburdens us with too much adrenaline. And we go into this flight, flee, or freeze mode. And then this clouds our judgments. We cannot make wise decisions anymore. And of course, it ends in fatigue. So the most important is hope shows us the last point that I've added, that healing is non-optional. And this is the spine of the 4-week self-mastery classes that I run. I call it the joyfulness code. And we work in the 4 weeks on healing, nurturing, invoking abundance in all 9 parts, your personal, your physical, your emotional, professional, your cultural values, your spirituality quotient, how are your finances doing, how abundant are they, and your relationship with nature. Okay. So when we have God's hope or Ishvara or whatever you call him, or the divine source as I call him, we allow him to work within us, through us, but we must be ready to work on healing Whether you need a mentor, you need counseling, or you need support groups, be available. I've had mentors for 20 years. I've had Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, who took Mahasamadhi, and that's how, what Sajani was saying, I used to go to Rishikesh. I used to go to Anakati, Coimbatore, when he was still in this world in the body form. I had Phyllis Crystal, who was 99, and she entered my life. And in fact, I met a 99-year-old Okinawan woman in a fast train in Japan, and she is really the one who was a catalyst in changing my life from, I was always hopeful, right? I have always silver lining on the clouds. But also she changed me how I wanted to appear, my ikigai. Ikigai, when you marry your passion, your purpose, and your profession, right? So believe me, when you are rooted in hope, little by little, hope will always replace the shattered pieces of brokenness that you might feel at some time. We are not intact. We are humans. Every once in a while, we have a small shattered piece of brokenness, and hope helps you see your own profession or your own potential, right? I want you to think of all the words opposite of hope. Sajani, can you take this off, Swati? Sajani, can I invite you to give me 2 words which are opposite of hope? Can you give me 2 words? Now everyone start thinking and jotting it down. 2 words. Is she there?
I would say the opposite would be fear, disappointment, helplessness, those kind of words.
Okay. So tell me, did this word inspire you? Did they bring you joy and peace as you called them out?
Yes, yes, yes.
You mean the opposite of hope? These words, despair. Yes, Saroja, that's a good one. No, when you called out these opposite of hope and joy, did it feel good?
No, it didn't feel good.
They don't feel good. That's what
they
I'm
don't
saying.
feel good at all.
No, hopeless. Yes, Ramesh.
Hopelessness and
doubt, despair, as someone said, uncertainty. So now my point is, if these opposite words are impediments of our spiritual growth, because hope and staying rooted in hope will, I promise you, as our scriptures has shown, will always grow you in the realm of spiritual growth. So this is the most powerful thing that I'm going to share with you today, that hope is when you are rooted in hopelessness, when you have fears, when you have despair, when you have doubts, when you have uncertainty, they are your biggest self-sabotage that you will do. They are the biggest self-sabotage for lack of self-knowledge, because you dip into a realm of hopelessness because you don't have the self-knowledge. So let me just bring up the next one so you can physically see it very briefly. Take a snapshot of it. I was always taught this way. Take a snapshot, keep looking at it when I speak, but we're going to take it off so I can see everyone here. So what are the impediments in the way of hope? Self-sabotage that we do because we do not have enough self-knowledge. And also, yeah, this is perfect. Thank you. We lack trust in knowing that healing is non-optional. Do you know how many of us sweep everything that's not going right under the carpet? We all do that, right? We all do that. Ki isko kal dekh lenge. It'll solve it. No one knows what I'm going through. It's okay, but it's not okay. I really want to stress upon that. Okay, so if all of you have taken this for a... So what is self-sabotage in this case? I just want to elaborate on that. Knowing well that spiritual growth lies in self-knowledge, then obviously understanding of the self and healing becomes the most important thing you will ever need to become limitless and free of sorrow. And this is not even up for questioning, right? It is important to note that this obstacle is created, like they say in the scriptures, it's adhyatmika, it's self-generated, because our true nature is never away from us. In fact, we are always what we wish to be. And I'm just going to say this. You can take this off. I think we're just going to have one more slide. I'm going to just talk a lot. And at this stage, I think I would love to see some of you come back with your cameras. Swati, you can take it off, please. I'm going to share something very vital, right? I want you to absorb this. Okay, I'm going to go very slow because this is the crux. Now, as a human, one longs to be free of sorrow, fear, self-judgment. But what if I tell you that you are already free of these afflictions? Would you believe me? You got the separating factor between oneself and the freedom to strive to become free is nothing but self-ignorance, because you're already all of that. You're already free of sorrow, fear, and self-judgment. So it's really ironical. Here we are seeking freedom from everything that's complex, all the wrong conclusions that we have centered on the self. So I always say this in my 4-week thing. I said, we ape the cat stretch. You know, if for those who do yoga, we do the cat stretch, right? We are told, do the cat stretch. Or you do the downward dog pose. We have borrowed it from animals, right? And we, okay, where is this echo coming from? Indu, do you want to silence yourself today? So just so that, yeah, thank you so much. So here we do the A cat stretch and we do the downward dog. And in life, we are doing similar antics and we do similar acrobatics in how we deal with life to get extra love. We go way out and do this and do that for self-approvals, for validations, for self-acceptance even. In fact, I think the animals are so much more content because they do all that. They're very content with who they are. But have we forgotten that we are actually light beings having a human experience? We are not separate from that light, but we are not willing to invest in this knowledge of self. As one of my favorite Nisargadatta Maharaj Ji says, there is no self to be illuminated. We are already that. How beautiful and powerful is it? So why have we forgotten it? It's just, I think we have lost our way. And the only example I can give you in the simplest way, if you have seen a kitten, how she plays with the ball of yarn, right? And the more she battles with it, the more the yarn starts to unravel and more it entangles the kitten. Very soon the kitten is one with the yarn. And then she struggles to be free. This is exactly how we jivas play. We play with various objects of misplaced desires in this universe, which, mind you, it's perfectly okay to have desires. But life turns quite grim when we hopelessly get ensnared in these desires, or we hold on. We learn that from scriptures. I know all of you are well-read people. You have read the Gita, you've read the Upanishads, everything. But and it teaches us that we suffer from sorrow and anxiety at the mere thought of the absence of these desires that we are holding on to, right? But now, solution. What if we can identify what being the Shakti and the witness as one? What if we bring our cognizance and see the right vibrations go out to the world? Maybe then hope, maybe unconditional love and peace will not be a mere fictional concept. Does that make sense? Yes? Yes, Ramesh? Does it make sense? That what are we missing here, right? So I want to share a very cute story as shared by Pujya Siri Swami Dayananda ji. And so the story is set in Uttarakashi in the Himalayas. So there was a brahmacharin, a student of the Veda, and who was very intent on studying Vedanta in a Gurukul, a monastery. And Swamiji said, "Are, jao tum Rameshwaram, go on foot and bring Ganga water. Offer, you take Ganga from there and offer it to Lord Shiva there. Then come back here and I will teach you Vedanta." Now, most Maharajas, more Gyanis and more Swamijis and mentors, usually they'll put you in a little bit of testing. I mean, I've been through a few tests, and it's only to test the seriousness and the student's determination to study Vedanta. So as the story goes, the students didn't go far. He, in fact, went nearby to the Ganga river that was flowing rather than going to Rameshwaram, because he said, "Kaun jayega itni dur? Swami ji ko kya pata ki ye pani Ganga ka kaun se Ganga se aaya hai." And anyway, going to South India is going to be several months of walking. So as he was filling up his pot, he happened to glance at the bank and he saw this beautiful young woman. Their eyes met. He asked her to marry, and he forgot all about this monastic life and the teacher's task that he really wanted to study. Anyway, a few years passed, and then the man ek din utha, and suddenly he remembered, oh my God, I do want to study. And I remember my master's request. And he was, I think after a few years of grihasti, he was desiring ashram life. We all do, right? We all want to go and recharge. So he decided to visit the Swamiji of that ashram who had given him that task. And he said, Guruji, pranam. And the Guruji instantly recognized him, and he joked. He said, hello, what happened to you? That is the longest pilgrimage I have ever seen anyone make, because he was gone for so long. And the guy was so sheepish, and he says, Swamiji, I got married. I did not return, but now I've returned with my wife, and these are my children, and I've called them Isha, Kina, and Mandukya. So he was so wasteful, he even named them after the Upanishad. Now, the point of this story is, in the process of trying to fulfill our desires and responsibilities, we get quite distracted. Unfortunately, as Swami Dayananda ji used to say, he says, why is it that everything that one wants is either illegal, or it's immoral, or it has too many calories? And the last one, I can absolutely 100%, and I'm sure a lot of you will also relate to that why is it that anything good comes with a price, right? But so now it brings me to the second cause of hopelessness. You think that you can actually sweep anything toxic that you have gone through, hurt, betrayal, emotional pains, under the carpet? Think again. I have studied with many evolved masters for many years, and healing my emotional wounds, I 100% on my cellular level, I know that healing is non-optional. So where does this word, let me tell you, where does this word originate from? So this is an Anglo-Saxon root word for hal, H-A-L. And healing means hal, which means holy or spiritually pure in mind, body, heart, spirit, soul. Okay? So we were born this way until life strips it away from us. So isn't it our responsibility to get on with the process of returning to the purity we were born with? Isn't it our responsibility to unshed the years and years and years of the molding, the seeking, the conditioning, the self-belief system? And then it is our responsibility to become one with the silence and the freedom and the joy that lies with all of us. And then hope is what will get you there. And my dears, if you think that healing process is pretty or it looks good, I think you have fallen for the most dangerous myth of all times. True healing always involves opening old wounds. It involves death of your illusions, and you will need courage to face your emotional pain. I don't mean to scare you all away, but I want to call it as it is. So you can either ignore this call and me bringing this to you today, that healing is non-optional if you want to travel the path of self-knowing and self-growth, or fine, you can drown in toxicity, self-pity, and then find your self-worth totally diminished. And the resurrection of this diminished self-worth, my dears, will take many lifetimes. You'll keep coming back. You'll keep coming back to learn your lessons. But once we have healed, let me show you the other side. Once we have healed or started this journey, you will understand that the self is perfect, was always perfect. And you can then make peace with the philosophy of just being and not human doing. You will find that you will have the universe conspiring with you. You know, I'm a big believer of the law of manifestation, huge. I think everything in life, like I first started, has been manifested. So Carl Jung, he said this, he says, how can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side if I am to be whole. So we must embrace our dark sides, but be willing to work if you want spiritual growth, right? So at this point, I don't think we have time today to go into the law of manifestation. So what I'm going to do instead, if this is okay with all of you, because I see such beautiful people here, I want to lead you all through a very powerful meditation. And this meditation, you will empower yourself, and with the words that you send out to the universe. Do you know that the universe has the biggest ears, right? You know that, right? It's always listening. And it's always telling you things in your ears, except we are not listening. So when you are rooted in hope, unconditional joy, you will find that the universe will inspire you and not conspire against you. So this small prayer, we are so empowered together. I don't want anyone to leave at this point. अगर आपकी दाल जल रही है, उसको थोड़ा सा 2 minutes slow पे करके please come back. I don't want you to miss out, because you are going to become the ambassador of hope right after this. All right? Ramesh ji, aapke to, you see how you even have 2 hands to help you in this self-growth process. So beautiful. Your kids are listening. They'll absorb something.
The wings are flapping.
The wings of hope. And that is exactly so beautiful. In my book, the poem I have written is called Wings of Hope. And there was this validation right away. So I'm going to take you through this meditation. Please stay put, don't leave. And after that, I'm open for Q&A. Does that sound like a plan? Yes? Okay. So what I'm going to do here is, I would like you before we go into the meditation, I just want to say one thing to wrap it up. That why do we need this meditation together? See, look at the challenges we are facing. Look at the hostility. Look at the adversities that is seeping into all our corners of the world, of our culture. And you need to start becoming a contributor and not just a consumer, to make a positive difference in your families, then your communities, and then your nation, and then to the universe. So I invite you all today to choose hope intentionally and incorporate it into your lives by tapping into all that's available around you. Please develop a lifestyle and habits that includes hope, and trust it, because hope is not something we humans need to only live, but also live life to its full. Okay, hope is like a muscle. We need to keep it strong. So let's, wherever you are in, whichever position you're sitting, I invite you to put your hands together, and it's just going to be a 2 minutes prayer. And can we perhaps unmute ourselves and say it together so that the vibrations are more magnificent? Are we okay to do that together? Can we say it? I'm going to read out and then you can repeat after me. How powerful, how powerful. Let those vibrations go out in the universe.
So unmute yourselves, everyone. You want everyone to say it out aloud?
Yes.
So kindly unmute yourself.
Okay, Gitu. Okay,
And
so
repeat.
just unmute. That will also let me know whether you are at your stations or you are here and you left. I can be a little wicked sometimes, and I'm always joyful, and I find there is no need to be too serious in life. Just be focused on working on your self-growth. The circle of joy, as I call it. Okay, so let's start with this prayer. I'm just going to say it in small bits and you can repeat it. Dear Lord, we recognize that we are imperfect beings.
Dear Lord,
Dear Lord, we recognize that we are imperfect beings
What?
Let's, who fall short of your glory.
Who
who
fall
short
short of
Lord
your
of your
glory.
your
Who
glory.
fall short of your glory.
So we come before you with humble hearts,
So
We
we
come
Come with
before you
you
with
with
humble
humble
hearts,
hearts,
acknowledging our human mistakes we have made.
acknowledging our
acknowledging our
human
human
mistakes we have
mistakes that we
made.
have made.
We ask for your grace to envelop us,
We ask
We
for your
ask for your grace
Grace
to envelop
grace
us,
to envelop us,
washing away our shortcomings
washing away our
washing away our
shortcomings,
shortcomings,
and filling our hearts with boundless love.
and
filling
filling
our
our
hearts
hearts with
boundless
boundless love.
May your divine grace empower us to let go of the past.
May your
May your divine
divine
grace
grace
empower
empower
us
us to
to
let
let
go
go
of
of the
our
past
painful past
And embrace a future filled with love and compassion.
and
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 embrace the
embrace
future
filled with love and compassion.
compassion and love.
And release any resentment or bitterness
and
Release any
Release
resentment
any
or bitterness
bitterness
that we may be holding on to those who wronged us
that
that
we
we may be holding on to
those who
those who
wronged
wronged
us,
us,
or hurt us knowingly
or hurt
or
us
unknowingly.
knowingly or
hurt us
unknowingly.
knowingly or unknowingly.
Give us the strength to forgive them,
Give us
Give
the
us the
strength to
strength to
forgive
forgive
them,
them,
because in doing so,
because in doing so,
so
and say this with a smile, I free myself of the burden of carrying that pain in my heart.
I
I
free
free
myself
myself
of
of
carrying that burden in my heart.
in my heart.
O Lord,
O
O
Lord,
Lord,
in a time when divisions seem to be growing in the world,
in a
in
time
the
when
times when
the
divisions seem to be growing in the world,
we pray for your grace to bring understanding among nations.
we
we
pray
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 for
to
your
for
bring
grace
grace
to
to
bring
bring understanding in our nation.
And we thank you for sowing seeds
Thank you for sowing
Raising
seeds
seeds
of forgiveness,
of
of
forgiveness,
forgiveness,
love,
of love,
compassion, and hope,
compassion, and hope,
so that
hope,
we may heal
so we may
may
heal
heal
and lend that healing to the troubled world.
and
and
lend that
and
healing
that
to
healing to
the
the
troubled
troubled
world.
world.
Allow me to be an ambassador of hope,
Allow me to be an ambassador of
Ambassador of
hope,
hope.
and may it transform my life.
and
may
May it
my
transform
life.
my life.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
I hope to learn.
Just for the next few seconds, keep your hands joined, have a smile on your lips, joy in your heart, and feel this unburdening that you did magically today by forgiving, by sending love to the world, and
By
investing joy and hope. Slowly, whenever you're ready, you can come out with a smile. If you want, you can run these beautiful vibrations of the hand all over your body and send it to the universe. It's a great way to finish prayers. How did that feel?
Very nice.
Felt good.
Thank you. With that, I come to the end, absolutely on time for the presentations. And I hope that there was value in this session for all of you. Thank you for being an ambassador of hope. And I'm open to anything I can help you with, any clarifications, anything at all.
Thank you so much, Minnku. That was really wonderful. And thank you for the little meditation we ended the session with. It was wonderful. And now we'll open up the session for any questions, comments, suggestions. Anyone would like to say anything, ask a question, kindly unmute yourself and ask Minnku. Go ahead, Ramesh.
Thank you, Minkuji. That was really very nice. Very uplifting. I've also observed that you have used hope in a in an additional capacity, because normally your hope is something that people do when they don't have a clear-cut sankalpa for the future. I mean, at least that's what many of these self-help programs have taught us. Don't just hope, but intend and then work. I mean, you make the intention and leave it to the divine, and then you get down and work. You don't just kind of hope with a intention that something will happen somewhere at some time in the future. But you've used hope in a more powerful, proactive manner. So how would you? Is it like a sankalpam? What is the difference?
Okay, so Ramesh, first of all, sankalpa, like you have rightfully said, it's intention, right? You make a sankalpa, you send that powerful message to the universe, like it's taking an oath, or you send an intention. Now, this is what I would cover as part of, it's under this art of manifestation. So the art of manifestation, you rightfully said that actually when you are trying to manifest something, like you want your intention to actualize, right? You will need three things. You will need clarity, you will need alignment, and you will need action. That is correct. So it is not wishful thinking. You have to take action towards achieving what you want. And every time you work hard or you send out the right vibrations, you move a step closer to what you seek. Once you've done that, then whether your sankalpa is actualized or not, you go into a zone of trust and surrender, right? That is the beauty of that you have done your level best. Tum haath pe haath dhar ke nahi baithe the. You did everything that you could, and now let's trust the universe. Maybe कहते देर है अंधेर नहीं है. And beyond andher also, if it doesn't happen, this is not for your highest good. We must have trust. We must have. But yes, when you want to manifest and you take a sankalpa, you have to act towards it. Consciously, unconsciously, and that is also the road to ascension. That is the path. So I hope that answered it.
So that is the context in which you use the word hope in this case.
So hope, of course, is larger than life. It is what you stay rooted in, but hope is the bridge between hopefulness and hopelessness. The despair, the anxiety that we are feeling between these two spaces. Hope is that bridge. It's that anchor, right? And also I brought in that subject of how it's a self-sabotage when you're not rooted in hope, because if you want to evolve spiritually, holistically, you cannot lose hope. And sometimes when we become these light beings full of hope, because we all have something or the other, we didn't get the job we wanted, our child didn't get the grades we wanted, our health is not, you wanted to walk 1 hour, but then you've been limping for 2 weeks, then always be issues which will come up, which if you're not watchful can take you into a zone of dismalness, into toxic thoughts. So when you keep hoping I'll get better, and if it's meant to be, it will come. It becomes a beautiful bridge. It's that zone of positivity. I hope that helps.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Kashmira?
Yes, Kashmira.
Yeah, I just have and Sajani might remember, hope dwells eternal in the human breast. Man never is, but always to be blessed. So when we open ourselves, the blessings are there.
Yes.
That's all I want to say.
Yes, that's beautiful, Kashmira. When you open yourself, in the right intention, I think humans need to just align. When I talk about alignment, Ramesh, for the manifestation, the clarity alignment, it is what the biggest thing that I was taught by this 99-year-old Okinawan lady that I met in a fast train was, what is your why? What is your purpose of life? Sometimes we put this, what is the purpose? It's a beaten up concept. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? But if you can just sit in dhyana, if you can sit in silence, that what is the purpose? What is it that I bring to the world? How are people going to feel when they have not in your company anymore? What are people going to say when they come to my grave, for that matter? There lies your answer. What difference did you make in the world? Were you rooted in hope, positivity, and unconditional love? Then you have lived a beautiful, blessed life.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mamta, so nice to see. Mamta, did you have a question, Mamta? Thank you for coming in. Mamta is here. Is there any other questions, Sajani, that comes to you while we're at this? Because I know
no, I
that
think Meher wants to ask. Yes, Meher? No.
No, I haven't had such a.
Oh, okay.
Mamta has unmuted. Mamta, any
Yes.
questions?
Sorry,
Hi,
Ms.
Minnku.
Mamta. Yes.
Hi, Minnku. That
Hi,
was
Mamta.
a lovely session, very informative. But my question was, what is that first thing that we should do to go towards that positiveness? Yes, we should, we need to do a little bit of meditation. We need to do, but mentally, what is that one thing that we should change a little bit, that we can get on that path? Is there some like a switch on, switch off thing? I know.
I think we're in a world of Maggie Me, no? We all want quick fixes, and I wouldn't say it's bad news, but the feedback for you is we have taken many janams. Do you know that our DNA, Mamta, carries a blueprint? And sometimes we keep coming across the same kind of experiences again and again. We keep coming across the same kind of toxic people. That's what narcissists are. We gravitate to them. So I think the first point, Mamta, my question to you, can you build your second story? Or even before you build your foundation, you can't, right? You need to build your foundation, and it's part of a story in the Bible that let the wind come, let the snow come, let the tide come. But if you hold your house and build your house in sand, it will crumble. But let wind come, let snowstorm and waves and tides come. But if your house, your pillars was rooted in rock, your house will stay steady and unshakable. The same thing about life. Basically, what is your foundation? So when you're looking at the one thread, so you're like that kitten, right? Who has entangled herself in the yarn.
Yes.
Now you're looking for that one point, or say, jaise ek sweater hum bun rahe hote hain, and then, you take one of that main thread and the whole sweater comes untangled, right?
Yes.
Now, point here is we are all a sum of different experiences. We are a sum total of many experiences. Each one of us has a different set of conditioning, which then becomes our self-belief. So the first point is to sit in quietness, in silence, and in trust and surrender, and invoke it. When we are saying that the universe has big ears, it also has big ears, but it's also listening to many people. So if you are not that person who's going to tug at the mother's pallu, if she has 12 children, and the other child is more louder and more, demanding, then I think, somehow there is. So just say and invoke and say, this is the issue in my life. I need solutions. How may I be guided? Trust the process. Trust the process of getting to know yourself, and all this intuition building, being guided, I think is like you talked about the light switch. That light
Yeah.
switch happens in the pauses, like Victor says, when you read mindfulness also, that most of the ideas, creativity happens in this one pause to the other pause. In that silence is where the magic stays. In that silence between pauses and your breath. Sit with your breath, right? And then invoke what needs to come to you, because you're a separate person. Each one of us here is a separate person. Life sum of experiences. So if I know better the pain point that you might be wanting to attend, maybe one-on-one, we can have a chat, then I will be able to guide you depending on your circumstances and where your starting point is. But silence, I think that applies to all of us. Sit in silence, and if the answer will be given to you, where do you start?
Lovely. Thank you so much, Minnku. That was fabulous.
So glad. I'm so glad.
Thank you.
So I just have one question,
Yes,
Sajani.
Kashmira.
Sure.
So when you talked about DNA, that's when the thought came to me. Some people are just born positive, and some people are so negative. So would it be because of your DNA?
See, there is something called collective prarabdhas, what we call. So the 50% of who you are has come to you as a blueprint. So sometimes people say, वो तो इतना खराब आदमी है, फिर भी देखो वो कितना खुश है, and look at he's amassing wealth and health, but he's such a bad person. But now see, all the good karmas, what you sowed is like a blueprint. You have carried it. 50% of who you are is your DNA, and 50% is your conditioning of what you heard. What you heard when you were growing up. What was the conversation? What was the narrative around you? So there is no one who's born as a good person. We become someone, and our personalities are formed apart from the DNA that we've carried as something that we've heard. Some people work on things that they feel is toxic and they know it's not healthy. So work through, Kashmira, a relationship with your emotional coefficient. If there is something that you're not happy with in your character building, that you feel, nahi, ye main to jaldi gussa aa jata hai mere ko, or, I'm this, or I'm that. Quieten, first of all, also this goes for Mamta, quieten the inner critique. We all have an inner critique, and the way in my TEDx, so please go and listen to my TEDx talk. This is an invitation to all of you. It's on, if you say art of thinking, it is something that will come up immediately. My talk, because there's hardly anything on art of thinking. And I think that's why it became the 6th most watched in the world in November of 2022. So art of thinking tells you exactly that. What are you thinking that you shouldn't be thinking, and why aren't you thinking what you should have thought? So basically, silence, Mamta, this goes for you as well. Silence your inner critique, because the inner critique will bring up only, when you say bad person, we only can talk about ourselves. It will bring up your weaknesses. It will sound very critical. All that can diminish you, your inner critique is doing that. So the way or what we call the monkey mind. So when I say to Mamta, you need to sit in silence, monkey mind ko kaise tame karoge? You need to tame the monkey mind so it doesn't jump tree to tree. And for that, mindfulness I find a great anchor, and I talk about mindfulness a lot with corporates. So basically, Kashmira, you have to silence your inner critique. And the way I do that, and I've been taught to do that, is whenever something happens, you're going to go meet someone, or you're going to say, Ramesh, if you're going to pitch for a work job or something, and you'll say, no, but I don't think I deserve it. We all go through thoughts. I am not good enough. I am not good enough. So quieten, give it a name. The way I handle inner critique, which is the most damaging thing that we have allowed ourselves, Kashmira, is give it a name. If someone names it, say, Princess Katmina, or you have a favorite character in a movie, we can be as adults also playful. Or you have a pet, name it, give it a name of the pet. And when this ugly head of the inner critic comes up, boom, just say for example, Kashmir, if you were to give a name to your inner critic, what would that be?